Guys, we are at DR Premium. This video is sponsored by me, myself, and I. So today we have a great content creator. His name is Dan Kerchum.
Dan Kerchum, pero por favor es R de Premium.
R de Premium.
R de Premium, aquí estamos aquí en Naco.
Tú eres cibao ahora, tú eres cibaeño.
No, Ciba.
Tú eres cibao, un pollo el cibao.
Dude, I'm here in the Cibaeño, but no, we're not there yet.
Damn,
we gotta give love to Cibao.
Yeah, el cibao es duro, el cibao es duro.
Yeah.
So man, how's everything? Dude, going?
It's been a bit hectic. We're doing a lot of things, but definitely wanted to make time to sit down and chat. You know, pretty good platform. I love what you do.
Thank you, man.
Because I don't like to get involved in politics.
Yeah,
you do.
I know.
But I support what you're doing. It's pretty good.
Thank
you got
you.
to share that
Appreciate
opinion.
It,
so yeah.
So I want to ask you. This is from the beginning, from the scratch.
Yeah.
How did you start doing content on social media?
Accident. By absolute accident. So first of all,
I just upload a video. And
I was trying to get. So first, I was going to fly to Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I got you.
And a lot of people started telling me that it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be like, you don't know where you're going. And like they gave me this like entire picture of the country. So I was like, okay. When I landed, I'm like, well, it wasn't that. Like it doesn't look like that. So as I I enjoyed it more and more, I decided I'm going to start filming it. Mm-hmm. And it took me like a year or two. Like I started posting maybe like a couple of years after, and I had like a quick video which was called Third World, and like in quotations.
I saw that video. Like you saw the video that you compare like some places.
So that's the latest video, but the first video was on YouTube, and the first YouTube video was like, look at like basically what they're saying about DR, and I'm starting off from that position. I'm saying like, it's dirty, it's full of trash, blah blah blah. This is what you imagine. Stop right there. It's actually not that, and then I show them what it actually is, right? So that video, the idea was basically show what I'm seeing. So people say like I'm selling like the country, whatever. I'm not selling anything. I'm selling nothing.
I know.
But like, and I don't even post that much. Like I always like get lost after a couple of months. I have to come back.
You're a rookie in that one. I'm accustomed to that.
I'm not consistent. I'm not consistent. I don't have any plans for real estate and stuff. I know a lot of real estate people follow me. And that's great, but yeah, I'm not doing anything like that. I've gotten offers for like sponsorships and whatnot, but I just like to create content for now. Maybe we're gonna monetize at some point, but for right now, I'm just sharing what I'm seeing. So my videos were basically just like, here's what I'm seeing, and it totally doesn't match what you're saying, because it first started with stories, because a lot of people back home that were not aware of this, they were like, Dominican Republic, what is it like? Like, they know nothing about it, right?
Yeah.
So they see the videos and they're like, dude, what the hell is that? Like, it doesn't make, they're like, what's going on here? Like the luxury towers, the amenities, it doesn't make any sense. My first night, 2 days in, because I was staying at a hotel nearby.
Okay.
I got an Airbnb in Piantini. And I'm getting into the Airbnb and I'm seeing the lobby.
Yeah.
And it was, Torre de Lujo, right?
Yeah.
It looks perfect. And I'm like, you can't even find this in many places, regardless of how much money you have. If you went to like, let's say you go to Munich, Germany, right? Mm-hmm. And Munich is a great place. It's a very wealthy, affluent place. But guess what? They don't have a culture of like amenities. So of course there's a couple of buildings where—
I didn't know about that.
No, you can pay like, they will tell you, oh man, somebody's gonna say, oh, I live in Munich. There's like buildings that are like, yeah, the apartment is like $4 million, you get way less amenities, and there's like 4 buildings like that in the entire city. Okay. On the other hand, Prague, Czech Republic, is like 3 hours away. Prague is technically, on average, poorer than Munich. It's still like a rich place, but it's just not as like rich as Munich.
Gotcha.
But they have way more amenities, because in their culture, it's about like, we want to live really well. So you're going to find the gym, you're going to find the restaurant in your building, you're going to find reception, stuff like that, right? And ironically, you're going to find security, and trust me, they don't need security. It's like one of the safest cities in the world. They don't need security, right? So it's more about the feel, it's about what people expect, it's about the culture. So when I came here, I was like, okay, this kind of looks like Miami. Like the buildings, the condos, it kind of looks like it. Now, of course, it's not there yet in terms of full development, but when you start investing, when you start buying properties, when you move somewhere, the idea is, at least on my end, I want the future to be bright. If I'm moving somewhere, I don't want to go to a country where and I went to a country recently, a European nation, which used to be pretty high quality. It was a first world country. And now it no longer is.
Censorship. It's
well,
ruling that.
They do have censorships. Right? They will put you in jail for social media posts. You post something that'll put you 30 people a day go to jail, go to prison for social media posts. But it's not even that. It's about they've become poorer. They've become like all their metrics went down, and on top of that, you can feel it in the air. People are not optimistic. When you come here, dude, because people tell me like, oh, you know what? You're just hanging out with the people that like own the country, whatever. Like, what are you talking about? There's a guy running like carpet cleaning business.
Yeah.
And he's making a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's making a lot of money. And you can do that. And there's people that are like installing like smart locks, security systems. I mean, I'm just naming stuff that I recently purchased for various things, but there's plenty of people in various industries that make a lot of money in just their specific field. So you can do it here, but more importantly, in my opinion, it's just like, not only can you do it here, it's incentivized because people are hustling. Even if you come at like a stoplight, they're not going to be begging you; they're going to be selling to you. Okay, so I enjoy when the future looks bright. And for example, a city of Dublin in Ireland, for example, just like because I'm not like I love DR, but like I'm very objective.
Yeah,
when I'm in Dublin in Ireland, I love that place because in that city you can feel the energy because they were sort of like suppressed for a long time, and recently they started growing, and now they're one of the fastest growing countries in the world. They're doing pretty well. They have problems as every country.
Yeah, sure.
But the optimism is there, and I can sense it. I can feel it, right? So Poland, Poland is just growing insanely quickly, So I'm very objective here, and so when I came here, my purpose was like to share what I'm seeing here, and what I'm seeing is the start of something great. And it's been happening. It's just that people are not talking about it. And now with social media, we get to talk about it. And so my perspective is just like I'm sharing what I'm seeing. So I basically took that YouTube video. This is the longest answer ever. I took that YouTube video and I said, let's just like make it real quick for Instagram, because I had some people follow me from before on Instagram, and I was like, let's post it.
Okay, yeah.
And I posted it, and then the next day it was just like, what is going on? Because that video went to like 600,000 plays, 600,000 plays, people arguing, people just like all over the place. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting. So people love the content, people hate the content, but at the same time, the engagement, like when you argue, when you comment,
right?
Keep commenting, bro. Like I want you to hate, because when you do hate, we get those numbers, So so I noticed that, and I started posting more because I was like, at this point, I'm just gonna keep posting, because when you engage in comments, people forget.
Yeah.
Like if you reply to somebody in a comment, what's gonna happen is they're gonna forget that you replied.
Yes.
Nobody else is gonna see it. So like, you know what? There's a segment of people that understand what I'm saying, and they want this to be seen. So let me keep posting. So my content has been basically accidental because I posted it, and then it was kind of like you should continue posting it, just because people want you to post. And when you stop posting, people start reaching out. Hey man, post something, bro. Like, are you okay? What's happening, right? So yeah, my DR content is just like fully organic. It was not masterminded. There's no reverse engineered. It's just like posting what I'm saying. And some people like it. A lot of people don't like it. But ultimately, whatever I'm posting is just like what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking, So yeah.
you create that. You just post that video, and since that day, what was your motivation to keep posting things, man?
So I love narratives, and I love showing. So I love, how we think of a place right now. Think of any city in the world right now, but don't think of this one. Any city.
City, maybe.
A place that you've been to. Any city.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe Toronto.
Okay. Yeah. So when you think of Toronto, what do you think? What are you thinking about right now? The images that you're seeing. What are you seeing?
Just people being polite and say sorry like 4 times in a row.
Oh no, but like your experience, like that's you're like what images visually do you get when you think about Toronto?
I mean, like a city, people just walking on and whatever, like just it's like people
where does
just
it tilt?
ignoring you.
Does it tilt? Because when you think about cities, like, at least the way I think about places in general, I think about it in a context of like the feeling. Of the place,
it gives me like a sad sort of feeling. It's not that they're bad or anything. It's more like I felt like people were like too busy in work and studies, and they weren't having time interacting. It was like not a pessimistic feeling. It's more like a nostalgic kind of like I don't know what is this going.
Okay. So do you think that what you experienced is like objectively true in Canada? Like if I poll people, do you think that I can find some data that they're more pessimistic than, for example, Americans? What do you think?
Yeah, you can find it
Right.
too.
Right.
Also,
So your feeling is accurate. When you think about Toronto, you get the accurate representation of Toronto, right? So I have a friend who went to Stockholm, and he went to Stockholm for like 3 days, and he says Stockholm is incredible, right? It's an incredible city.
Mm-hmm.
Now the reason why he has that experience is because, so if I poll people that live in Stockholm, they're going to tell me a lot of problems that you wouldn't believe exist in that country. But my friend that went there, his perception is based off what he saw specifically, right?
Exactly.
So he's going to come back home, or London. You go to London, you go to like Canary Wharf, you go to like Kensington or Hampstead. I could be hanging around Hampstead for like a week, and I tell you like, oh, dude, Hampstead is incredible, right?
Incredible. Mm-hmm.
But then percentage-wise, the people like would not be surprised that London has that.
Yeah.
Because we already talk about London being great and blah blah blah, you know. So the branding of London, if anything, it can like Paris syndrome. If you go to Paris, more than likely you'll be disappointed by what you see.
For the big
Most people,
expectations
because you
and
expect
everything.
so
Yeah,
much,
yeah,
and then you get there, it's kind of like, so why is that? Well, that's because of the narrative they created. You think of the Eiffel Tower, right? You think of the Champs-Elysees, right? You think about all these
You see
places.
all the videos that they're like comparing. You see the Eiffel Tower in an angle, and then you see all the people doing some stuff.
Of course, and you see the actual frame of like the pyramids in Egypt, for example. Like,
Uh-huh.
so the mental image that you get in Paris, generally speaking, when somebody thinks about Paris, usually that image does not represent what that person would experience living there.
Yes.
Now, when I talk to my audience would have experienced exactly what I'm seeing here. So would people like you in Toronto experience that? The answer is yes, because Canada, generally, the sentiment in Canada is that it's going downhill.
Yeah, it's weird.
So
it's
there's a feeling that the best days are behind
you
us.
have like
right?
like beautiful places, big buildings, people like actually are really literate and they have a lot of knowledge and things, and you see the people, but then you see like this spark that's going now and people like getting sad, and it's like
So that's the mental image. But then if you think about like America always figures it out. Somehow there's a problem, they figure it out. So there's a different mentality. There's like a problem-solving mentality. Canada right now is in this weird place, and you're describing it perfectly. So to answer your question, because it's true. Like if you I'm a marketing person, so I look at public opinion. I guarantee you that a lot of people in Canada, way more than before, are feeling like there's no future for them there. They're looking at other options, okay? And a lot of these people are under the impression the country was taken from them by like, corporate interests, you know? So a lot of people in Canada will come here, but like when you, or like somewhere else, regardless, different people like different things. But the point is, when you think about Canada, you get a pretty accurate representation from what you've seen. But a lot of people will now post stuff about Toronto and show those good parts, okay? And there are good parts. Like if you're trying to like advance your career, if you're trying to there's multiple things about Canada that make it really solid.
Yes.
So I'm being objective. It just so happens that if you tell people that it's like, show the skyline, look at the skyline, more than likely that is not the accurate representation of the person's life.
That's not the whole perspective.
Exactly. So you will see a lot of people showing Toronto, but the people watching, that's not going to be their reality. But my target audience on Instagram is people like me, people that would come here and presumably either start a business or invest here or whatever. Their experience will be just like mine or similar, and I did not feel like it's accurately represented. So when I'm looking at these cities, these narratives, I'm thinking in terms of what people think.
Yes.
And when people think of Dominican Republic, a lot of people's opinion, in my experience before I came here, was they went to the resort and
maybe to Punta Cana,
and they liked the resort, but then everything outside was poor in their view.
Yeah.
And I even heard people tell me like, oh, we were like in shock, we got robbed, there was a slum, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, I've been to your country.
Yes.
And I've been to a bad area in your country.
Yeah.
But that's not my takeaway. I didn't put myself in a position, like when I'm in England, I don't go to Luton. It's a part of England that maybe is not the safest part,
Luton.
So like what I'm saying is, objectively speaking, the narrative that you want to build, that narrative, and people sometimes tell me like, oh, I live in this specific city. Oh, thank you. They're like, I live in this specific city. You got AC maybe? Aire. Well, República Dominicana es aire.
Dentro del aire.
Yeah. But so the point is, so a lot of these narratives that we see, they're formed.
Yeah.
So there are people that are doing marketing for like emerging economies, and they call these countries, legacy brand countries. Because if you think of the UK, you think it's so great because the flag is branded. So marketing plays a big role. And if you go there and you hang around like the 10-minute radius, you're going to find that. But if you exit that 10-minute radius, you're going to be hit by a different reality where you get robbed. There's a moped. There's a billboard saying watch what you wear. So you cannot be wearing an expensive watch because they will try to rob you.
Oh no, they tell me too that they stab a lot of people. They have like that
knife crime. Issue. Yeah, knife crime is a big problem.
They have like memes and everything.
Yeah.
Like.
So, but the point is the narrative. Like, if you want a country to grow, you need to work on the narrative, because economies work like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
If you talk bad about a country, other people hear that, and they will believe that it's bad. And if they believe that it's bad, they will not invest, and they will pull the investment, and that's going to become reality. If you show people what it could be, because when I show, for example, Piantini, I'm not just showing Piantini. I'm showing what other areas are about to become. So when I'm in Piantini and I show people Piantini, somebody's going to be like, Evaristo Morales, it's nearby, it's not Piantini yet, but guess what? Maybe it's going to become that.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make it that, right?
Okay.
So my perspective of the country is, my experience is very positive, so I share it. But on top of that, I do think it's important to continue posting, because what people are saying doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
I was never robbed in this country. I never had a problem for 3 years. I never had anything bad happen to me. I've been in various countries, and a lot of sketchy situations. You got to be, you got to be proactive. You got to know what you're doing. You cannot be walking around like an idiot, right? But here, and you should still not walk around like an idiot here, but what I'm saying is, I don't like when people live in like a super upscale area in a different country, they come here and go to the ghetto. What did you expect?
Ooh.
Like, what do you expect? If you're gonna come here and save money, what do you expect?
That sounds
and by the way, on top of that, let me go a step further and tell you that even if you do go to the ghetto, I guarantee you most people will just be like chilling with you. So that's the thing. Like, the crime is going to be petty, maybe opportunistic. Somebody jacks your phone. Like, it's not. You're not going to find issues like you would find in some other countries that don't get that reputation, right? So I guess what I'm saying is, I continued posting because it matters to me. I want to show what it's like, and anytime I hear like, oh, that's not true, keep posting. And they will comment. They will say, for example, Santiago, somebody said like, oh, it's like tres casas. Right, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, record everything? Dude, there's like 40 minutes. About, like, there's 40 minutes of content, bro. But you don't have that attention span. You're not going to go to YouTube and watch 40 minutes of content.
Yeah, for sure.
So I will show you what I'm saying, and I'm going to show you like the buildings that normally you're not going to find in other places. Because if you go to Miami, because I've been in those buildings in Miami, they cost way more money in Miami.
A lot, and the rent.
And you don't necessarily get more. In terms of safety, you might not get more. In terms of amenities, you might not get more. In terms of the overall appeal, you might not get more. Like, Dominican Republic does a really good job of creating spaces. So if you see maybe a door on the street, you see a door, but behind that door is an entire world, a restaurant. Yep. Like, I can give you like 20 different restaurants that look like a door.
Like a Zona Colonial, for example.
Oh, that's a totally separate topic.
Literally.
Zona Colonial has so many restaurants like a door. And past that, it's like an entire space, an entire world.
Another dimension. You literally just pass through another dimension.
And a lot of other countries, what they do is they want to show you the best up front.
Yeah.
You get it? So I'm showing the spaces that I'm seeing because other people don't get to see them and they don't know about it.
Yeah.
Because people like what's familiar to them. So if I left Dominican Republic and I went to America, or I went to the UK or Germany or Canada, and I'm coming back, most likely I'll go back to the place that I'm from.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that the place that I'm from grew in that time frame. Like, maybe that did not specifically develop, but I'm going to go there because it's more familiar to me, right? So people will often say, the city that I'm in is super safe. Like, I've heard various cities, people claim that they're safe, but then it's just not the reality. Like, most cities, nothing will happen to you. Most cities, right? But then statistics matter. So if you look at Distrito Nacional, the homicide rate right now is on par. So Distrito Nacional on par with Miami. And Miami's homicide rates went down. It's been going down for the past like 25, 30. Miami's been getting safer, okay? So Miami is right now better than ever before. Better than ever before in terms of safety. And Santo Domingo is tied to that with Instituto Nacional. Now, those numbers, my point is, people are not marketing those numbers because I had to literally look at the raw data, pull the numbers and analyze it to realize, oh, wait a second, it's actually slightly lower than Miami, right?
And that's the other thing.
So
that your level of accuracy, because you actually look for the data.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But the thing is, you can always make data. This is the problem. A lot of people will take a piece of data and then create a narrative about that piece of data.
Yeah.
So in marketing, you can take any piece of data and make a narrative about it. My job is to make it so that it's accurate.
Yeah, what
right?
do you do for a living,
Like,
for any chance? I want to know
Yeah,
about that.
I'm in marketing. I help software companies create infrastructure for marketing.
Okay.
So when you, for example, when you see an ad, you go to a landing page, we get your contact info, and then when you say something into the phone and then all of a sudden you get an ad 5 minutes later, that infrastructure that needs to be set up, that's my job. I'm a CMO, and I work primarily with software companies. So my clients are not here. My clients are in Singapore, in Dubai, in the UK, in Germany, in America, Canada, all over the place, Australia. So I'm location dependent. So when I'm here, it's not because I have to be here. I'm here because I want to be here. And so that's been my spiel this whole 3 years, because people say oh, he wasn't able to do whatever he can in I'm from Croatia. It's
That's
way
the
cheaper.
thing, yeah.
It's way cheaper to be in Croatia.
I thought,
dude.
and sorry to interrupt you, I thought
Yeah.
that you were from Italy, man. You have
Yeah.
Italian, kind of Italianish voice and everything, which is great because you have this attitude that
I
you
lived
know
in Jersey,
everything.
maybe. That's
I got
He caught me. He caught me.
You
yeah,
remind
yeah.
me. You remind me of a character from this TV show that I like. I like cartoons, right? But this is an adult cartoon. It's Smiley Friends. It's the yellow guy. He's
Yeah.
called. What is the name of that yellow character on Smiley Friends? Yeah, Charlie. He has the same voice, the same attitude, everything. He's cool as fuck. He's just.
I heard
just
Seth
logical.
Rogen yesterday. The guy told me about Seth Rogen.
Logical.
Yeah.
He's just logical. He's like, oh, Charlie, we can do whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I don't have that time. You're gonna get sketchy. That your shit doesn't work.
Yeah. Make it happen.
Make it
That's what I'm
happen.
saying.
Exactly.
Make it happen.
Make
yeah.
it happen.
So people understand, it will be way cheaper to stay home.
Yeah.
Because Croatia is way less unequal. So you have to pay way less for an apartment in a safe area, because most areas are super safe. But guess what? The amenities are not going to be there because everybody's kind of used to that. So you will have you'll have an NBA player and living in an intercom building, but no lobby and reception stuff. It's just a regular building. I live next to these guys, and it's okay, I get it, but I like this. I like the lobby, the reception, the feeling that the building is always live. I like the amenities, and here I was able to find that, but it's way more expensive. So it's but at least you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
I feel like you do get what you pay for here. So, yeah, I mean, I'll keep posting and I'm evolving. I'm looking at various sides of the country. But for me, the most important part was to get people to understand what I'm seeing. I want my narrative. I want my image that I'm seeing, because the way when I wake up in the morning and I'm seeing skyscrapers and I see trees, a green neighborhood with trees and skyscrapers, and I'm dude, this is incredible. And I'm I wish people could see that. I wish people can see exactly what I'm seeing right now, because this has to de-stress you. You cannot be stressed out when you're seeing this. It feels way too good, right?
It is.
And there's a lot of that here. So, yeah.
So I have a question for you. How, can you describe your best and your worst experience living in DR, though? Your best.
Yeah.
It's like I'm.
Oh, dude, that's going to be a difficult one. Best experience. Oh, dude, there's a lot of. My family came here recently.
Oh.
And that entire experience in Punta Cana and Santo Domingo, the fact that they loved Santo Domingo, and I prepped for them. I prepped them for Santo Domingo because I told them it's going to be chaotic, but it's worth it. It's going to be really worth it. And they ended up loving Santo Domingo way more than Punta Cana, and they came from Europe. And usually people like the beach, whatever.
Yeah.
For us, Santo Domingo was incredible. So my experience here was just going around with my family and just chilling around the city, exploring the city. That was incredible. That's probably the best experience. Worst experience.
Yeah, because not everything is good, though.
Yeah. So honestly,
You like a tigueraje here
I
in Dominican
probably.
Republic?
No. I'm street smart. I'm street smart. I know what I'm doing. I live in Newark, bro. I'll be fine.
Yeah, okay.
So the worst experience probably trying to rent an apartment, and this was recently, where I basically I was trying to rent an apartment, and it was a new construction, super luxury building.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, dude, I love this apartment. Let's get it. And so many issues started popping up where I said we might have to leave 2 months early. Can we just get a 10-month rental? And the lady said, like, we cannot do that because, like, she was basically already she started taking my deposit before I even gave the deposit. That's the first thing she's done.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, she tried to cut corners, like get people out of the deal. Like people show me the apartment and stuff like that. And I thought they should get the commission because they're kind of like brokers here, right?
Yeah.
So she was basically like, and this is a person that left Dominican Republic. She went to Europe and apparently made a lot of money in Europe and is buying apartments in Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And my experience with her was that she comes from a different world. And in her world, it's okay to sign the contract. Like, to force people to sign the contract. Because in this specific case, I said we're backing out because you're trying to take my money from the deposit. I'm not going to do that. I want to know that my money's safe. I'm going to get it back, right? And so I said, no deal.
Yeah.
And then, so she said, she started guilting me. She was like, oh, but like we already had a deal. That's not like, it's not okay. It's not in good faith. I'm like, you're not in good faith because I don't like, there's no signature on the paper. There's no deal. Exactly. Because people want to do, this is the thing that I talked about. Like people want to shake your hand and then all of a sudden they think it's a done deal. And I've seen this happen in multiple countries, not just Dominican Republic, right? So I've seen people, they want to like shake your hand, give you a contract, totally different contract, and they think you're supposed to sign that contract.
Yeah.
No signature, no deal, right? So when she realized that like I'm not going to take a deal, she started insisting, like trying to improve the deal, make it better, but then I don't trust you anymore. So why would I do it? You went 100%, you went to 0%. Yeah. So why would I do a deal now, right? So that's probably my worst experience in the Dominican Republic.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You talked about seeing buildings and seeing trees. Do you think that Dominican Republic is an eco-friendly country?
Yeah, it is an eco. Do you find that this country is an eco-friendly country?
I think it needs to be more eco-friendly than it is.
Okay.
I think you can find a lot more than you would expect areas that look like what I basically show, which is like a lot of greenery. So I was surprised because obviously in a lot of countries, like the best area is super green. Like in London, Hampstead is super green, right? And America, Great Neck in New York is going to be super green. You know, Rye, New York is super green. Here, Los Casicascos is super green, right? So a lot of these areas, Bella Vista, Arroyo Hondo, super green, right? So I guess what I'm saying is I see a lot of improvements that are needed.
Yes.
But I do see where it's going, like where it could go. So there's a lot of many parts of the country that are super green. So in terms of eco-friendly, you can find it. But in terms of like bureaucracy and stuff like that, nowhere near Europe. There's no recycling from what I've noticed. It's very difficult to find anything like that. And just generally speaking, you will see a lot of people mistreating the country. Like you will see a lot of trash when you're driving. So I think it's a big problem. I think the biggest problem when you're driving and you see all the stops that people were there and through the trash.
You see the people just throwing on garbage at the street.
From that perspective, it seems to me that like, but it starts from the individual. You got to sell it to people. You got to make them proud of their neighborhood, so they can. Because it's not even a country thing. It's a local patriot thing.
Yes, pretty much.
You got to be proud of your neighborhood to make sure your neighborhood is clean, right? Because a lot of things start with like one person throwing a paper, and then you have a bunch of people doing it, right? So. What I'm seeing is very green, what I'm seeing. But I'm also seeing that in the country, there's a lot of areas that need a lot of work. Like, they need a lot of work.
And I have another question, though, and this is going to be a little bit controversial.
Yeah.
So, as you said before, there's people that work here hard, and they have the, liability to make their own money, and they create their own companies. Doesn't mean if they live in a ghetto place, a more luxury place, like Punta Cana, Piantini, Bella Vista, you name it. But I have a question for you. Do you think that the people that start complaining on social media and says that this country is bad and yada yada are not taking accountability for the steps that they need to live there? Let me reframe it. Do you think that they are actually have like a ghetto mentality itself? They don't know how to do things. They don't know how to investigate. They don't know how to like invest properly, or they just talking BS because they want to talk BS in social media?
I think most people expect things to be given to them. So a lot of people want to move to, and they often move to a country that
because you went
does
from Jersey,
things.
like you're from Croatia originally, but You got in Jersey. You got the
I lived in Colorado as well. I've seen many countries,
uh-huh.
and I've noticed that. And first of all, people complain in every country. Just so you understand, I've seen people complain in Slovenia. Okay, now Slovenia is a country next to Croatia. It's a small country. It's top 10 in Human Development Index and Equality Adjusted.
It has a good GDP though.
GDP, yes, it has good, but I don't even look at countries through GDP because I want to see how people live and what their opportunities are.
Okay.
So I'm looking at social dynamics. I'm looking at the income mobility. How easy it is to go from 0 to 100. Like, how can you go from being a poor person to being a rich person, right? And it's super easy to do it, like metrically speaking, in Slovenia. Again, it's top 10 in equality adjusted. So if you're poor in Slovenia, you can reasonably, with a reasonable amount of effort, become upper middle class in Slovenia.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And super safe country, etc. I've seen people complain in that country. Okay.
Damn.
So people will complain in every country. What I'm looking at is the movement of people. When people move to different places, what are they moving for? Are they moving for freedom? Because there's a lot of people that went to America because of freedom, right? Because they're from places that don't have freedom. That's legitimate. But then you have people that are moving to a different country because they want the benefits, the social benefits. So a lot of people move to Germany. Look, I know this. I know people that went to Sweden. I know people that went to Norway.
Yes.
That wanted to get
The good stuff.
the welfare. You know, they want to get the benefits. You know, so people go for the benefits, and that's obviously common. It's not the full story. Don't get me wrong. And on top of that, if you do have a country that provides for its citizens, you should probably do it if you have the
pretty much.
opportunity.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that a lot of people go for the wrong reasons, because in America, if you want to succeed, you still have to like hustle. You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
Like, so, but of course, if you're living in like, this is a common situation for every country, by the way, because people from Croatia move out as well. And they might go to like, I don't know, they go to like Germany. And not to say that there's not a lot of successful Croatians in Germany, there are, but there's a lot of people that go to Germany to be poor and barely make it. But at least they're not like back home, you know. So, and they will like talk bad about the country
They
back
want
home.
money from the government.
And so so this happens. It's not everybody; it's a percentage. But I find it that most people that talk bad about the country from abroad are specifically those people. It's usually the people that, because do you have the time? If you think about it, like I've been to so many places and I don't hate a single place. How is that possible? Like if I go to Denmark, Denmark is pretty cool. If I go to Germany, Germany's pretty cool, right? I come to Dominican Republic, I love Dominican Republic, right? And so people are making it seem like it's like, oh, it's New York versus Santo Domingo, and it's not. I like both places. They're awesome. But I'm coming from that perspective of, if you're in Dominican Republic and you're leaving only because of the money, I think that might not be necessary. Like, because I know a bunch of people that started off poor here that made a lot of money. There's a lot of people like that, and just because you don't personally know them,
Exactly.
maybe you're not spending enough time in the country, you know. So it's a story that takes place, and it's very common. So I mean, from my perspective, when I'm looking at people that are complaining, first of all, anybody who's complaining in general, like, do you have time to complain? People just want to go online, they want to share their opinions, and it's much easier to do that than
Pretty
to
much.
like roll up your sleeves and actually do something. You know?
Exactly.
So I just don't see that at all. Because, like, for example, I see people like, for example, Spain.
Yeah.
People living in Germany saying, oh, Spain is poor. Okay. You're in Germany because Spain is poor. Okay. I've been to Spain, I've been to Germany, I've been to their best areas. I will tell you that the rich Spanish people live way better than rich German people, way better. Their communities, La Moraleja in Madrid, way better. Pozuelo de Alarcón, way better than the best areas of Germany. So these areas, and can you make it? Yes, you can, but you got to really try. So I understand the feedback of like, you know, it's difficult to make it in Spain, bureaucracy and stuff like that. But here in Dominican Republic, a lot of people are hustling and they're making it. So, so if you're leaving, by all means, go for it. Like, I'm not stopping anybody. I'm not going to tell people you don't get to leave, or like, I'm not going to shame somebody. Like, if you're leaving just for the money, do it. Like, if you think that's necessary, do it. I'm just saying, the moment that you go online and you start spreading negative things about the country, then we got to take a look at this comment. Is it the feedback? Is it real feedback, or do you have beef with the country?
Yeah.
Because a lot of comments will start with, oh, we hate this guy because you're a colonizer. That's the first comment.
Damn,
then
man, you
dig
read my
deeper.
mind. That's literally
But
gonna be
then
the
you'll
next
see
question.
them. But then
bro.
if you track the user journey, if you
That's
see
crazy.
them,
This
you will see the
guy's
same
incredible.
person. The same person is talking about like in another comment, they're going to say DR is a shithole. Okay, so now we got it. So you have one comment, same person saying this, another thread calling the country a third world shithole. So now we know. Now we know. It's not just because they're pretending they want the country to be free. The country is free.
Do you know the most racist thing that I never encountered? Say that Dominican people, because majority of Dominican people are mixed, in greater scale mulatto or black, and they say that they can't develop because it's a black country. What do you think about that?
So the
That's
thing
the
is,
most racist thing
when
that
you,
I never
when
heard.
you ask me, I'm Croatian, right? So if you ask me, if you tell me that I'm white, okay, I mean technically in your worldview, that's fine. I get it. It's a thing.
Yeah.
I understand that, and it's true.
No, and it has
It's true,
innuendos
right?
and things that you can.
But with that, and there's like a history behind it. I get it. However, if you ask a Croatian, they're going to tell you they're Croatian, right? So if you're Polish, they're going to tell you I'm Polish, right?
No, you're saying.
And if you tell the Italian,
my God.
if you tell the Italian, hey, you're white, they're gonna be like, I'm Italian, right?
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean that they're not necessarily white in your worldview. It makes sense. And if these guys go to like Canada or Australia or America, they will be largely perceived.
Exactly.
And they will also be generally they'll be white. But here's the thing. Their initial identity from these places is very country focused. It's very national.
Exactly.
And so what people don't understand, in Dominican Republic, the population is so mixed, and I see people that look totally different.
Yeah.
Like you can see people, like I'm from Croatia, and I see people here that look like my neighbor in Croatia.
Literally,
like,
yeah.
They look exactly the same. But then you see people that are like, that look like all kind, like super diverse country, right? And there's a lot of pride in the Dominican flag. And everybody has it. It's not like one group has the monopoly on the Dominican flag. It doesn't. It's super, like if you wanted to, if you ever wanted for proof that you can have racial harmony in a country, it's Dominican Republic. Like if you had anybody, because people will tell you, like, oh, look at the conflicts in this country. Look at the conflicts here. It doesn't work. Come here.
Yeah.
It does work.
It works.
It clearly works because people mix. They spend time together. They share memories. They share like spaces. Like you're just not going to see this unless you come here. So if you're from a specific area, because of course different people settled Dominican Republic from different parts. You got Italians here. There's a lot of Italians in the country, like Piantini, for example. That's Italian, right? Vicini, Piantini.
Yeah.
So a lot of people from Italy. And they settle the country, and they go to different areas. So like a lot of Italians will settle a specific area. There's a lot of Germans in Cibao, right?
Yeah.
So you will see a lot of people in specific areas. And just because you're from an area, like if you grow up in one of those areas in Cibao, you might think the Dominican Republic is only people that look German, right? But then you go to another place, and it's not that. And then you have places that are completely diverse, right? So the fact that this country was able to build this out and create this cohesive identity is a blueprint.
Yep.
It is a blueprint. If you live in a country that has different kinds of people, it doesn't matter if it's like religious or race or like race, religion, whatever. If you have different people of different backgrounds, you see this country, this is your blueprint. Like to make a country where everybody's proud of the flag. So when you tell somebody, oh, I'm not white, I'm Dominican, I'm not black, I'm Dominican, it's a different worldview. So people don't understand that the first point of identification here is being Dominican, right? So, yeah, I mean, you can see that like in the families, you can see like, I have friends who like, I have a friend who's white and then his brother is like way darker skinned.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is he? Like they're mixed, you know, like it's just like, it's so diverse that it becomes a not issue. Like it's not a thing, you know? But you can't really tell people because in their worldview, that's at the center of identity.
Exactly.
And so, and I understand where that's coming from. Like, it's not like you can't hate on that because you got to be understanding of that. That in their worldview, they see things that way. So, for example, I saw this lady from New York, and she was talking about she went to Germany, and she specifically used the example of a Croatian person in Germany.
Yeah. Okay.
And this person said, she said, I went to Germany, and it's funny how in Germany, people don't become German because Croatians look like Germans. Like it's very like, it's basically like you can be there and nobody's gonna know that you're not German after like a, if you go there, maybe change the last name, or maybe you have a last name that is because we share some last names, so the point is you can assimilate very easily, right? But when a person, she said, she talked to a person that is Croatian, but they're born in Germany, and their wife is German, and the kids are German. So, and the person told this lady, I'm Croatian. And she doesn't understand. She's like, what is this? Like, this person is like German. It's just like they claim to be Croatian because their roots are from Croatia, right? And what this person doesn't understand is, I totally understand, because like innocent. Like, it's not like she's like trying to be negative about this.
Okay.
It's innocent. In her worldview, it's like, you were born in Germany, your wife is German, your kids are like, what do you mean? How are you not German, right?
Exactly.
And then this person is like, but Croatia's very close. It's like a few hour ride. So the assimilation doesn't take place, fully. So identity is kept because you're so close, and the cultures are not the same. So German culture is totally different than Croatian culture. So we have very unique things in Croatia that Germany doesn't have. They're different. So, like for example, Czech people that come to Croatia, Czech people become Croatian. And Croatian people in Czech Republic become Czech.
Yeah,
Similar cultures, it's just assimilation takes place. It's automatically.
Okay.
However, in Germany, the Croatian person typically, I'm not saying nobody assimilates, people generally assimilate, but they don't forget where they came from, right? So what I'm saying is, in this worldview, this person doesn't understand that a Croatian person in Germany still wants to be tied to their motherland, Croatia, right?
Okay.
And you have people in Austria that have been there for like 300 years, right? And they're literally like, they're Austrian people, but they have Croatian roots.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted to keep. So I guess what I'm saying is, identity, there's various ways that identity is constructed. And identity is so important to people. People love collective identities.
I got it.
So people, it's at the core of a person to build this collective, you want to belong. And because people want to belong, we have to understand, we have to be like understanding that the way they belong in their community, maybe they cannot understand how in a different country people belong, right? So what I'm saying is, I get the beef, I get people are arguing, I understand that. But at the same time, I'm not like, I think there's a lot less hostility there. I think it's a lot of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ignorance. And people don't really, people really want to see things in their worldview, because if they don't, it crumbles.
Exactly.
Because ultimately, go ahead.
They will change the perspective, right?
If you lose your identity, if you lose your collective identity, what might happen is you might lose your home. You might become global. And this is like what I generally talk about is, you want to belong in multiple places. Like, you want to explore the world. You want to have a home in different parts of the world. And you never want to have your eggs in one basket, because things can change. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. And you see countries changing. So my beef is not with this like worldview of like, like Dominicans are like white or black or whatever. I'm just trying to say that identity matters so much to people that sometimes that's all they have.
Yeah, literally.
And they're willing to basically argue to death over this. Like, they want to like beat a dead horse, like with this conversation about like what is to be a Dominican, right? And if you look at the flag, I have a perception of what it means to be Dominican. But when they share the post, when they say, and I've seen this post, when they say like, Dominican Republic where the president is Lebanese and it's run by Italians or whatever. What they don't understand is, when they say that to a person that lives here, immediately you pick up on the fact that these people are now outsiders. Like, they don't really understand that, yes, a person from Lebanon can be fully Dominican. Like, literally, they can have roots from Lebanon and be fully Dominican. And of course, like, I'm not, I'm sitting here, I'm telling you what I perceive to be.
No, that's
but you are Dominican, and this is your perspective. But then I see a lot of people that, are of different races, different religions, and they say the same thing. What they have in common is that they grew up here, and they understand the culture here. When somebody from a different culture comes here with their new worldview, and it can be a traumatized worldview. We got to understand that. If you live in a foreign land, your family migrated to Germany, and now you're like, oh, dude, like, these guys kind of don't want me here, and you come back to Croatia maybe, or you come back to Dominican Republic, or maybe you're in Switzerland, whatever, you come back and your perspective is going to be skewed because you've experienced like real trauma. And to you, that's real. But just because it's real to you does not negate other people's experiences.
Yeah,
and
much.
There's a lot of Dominican experiences here where to me, this country, I'm totally like, people sometimes say like you come here and you're like in areas where like white people live. Everybody lives everywhere.
Yeah, literally.
In Santo Domingo. Okay, so it's a mixed, diverse country, and it is a unique identity. And when I see the flag, I know what it means to me personally. But to somebody else, it might not mean that. Especially if the chip on their shoulder is that their family left because it was poor at the time. To them, this conversation about like what is to be a Dominican, right? And if you look at the flag, I have a perception of what it means to be Dominican. But you know, when they share the post, when they say, and I've seen this post, when they say like, oh, Dominican Republic where the president is Lebanese and it's run by Italians or whatever. What they don't understand is when they say that to a person that lives here, immediately you pick up on the fact that these people are now outsiders. Like they don't really understand that yes, a person from Lebanon can be fully Dominican. Like they can have roots from Lebanon and be fully Dominican. And of course, like I'm not, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm telling you what I perceive to be.
No, that's
but you are Dominican, and this is your perspective. But then I see a lot of people that, you know, are of different races, different religions, and they say the same thing. What they have in common is that they grew up here, and they understand the culture here. When somebody from a different culture comes here with their new worldview, and it can be a traumatized worldview, we got to understand that. If you live in a foreign land, your family migrated to Germany, and now you're like, oh, dude, like these guys kind of don't want me here, you know? And you come back to Croatia, maybe, or you come back to the Dominican Republic, or maybe you're in Switzerland, whatever. You come back, and your perspective is going to be skewed because you've experienced like real trauma. And to you, that's real. But just because it's real to you does not negate other people's experiences. And there's a lot of Dominican experiences here where to me, this country, I'm totally like, people sometimes say like you come here and you're like in areas where like white people live. Everybody lives everywhere.
Yeah.
In Santo Domingo. Okay, so it's a mixed, diverse country, and it is a unique identity. And when I see the flag, I know what it means to me personally. But to somebody else, it might not mean that. Especially if the chip on their shoulder is that their family left because it was poor at the time. To them, they're incentivized. They're biased to not like the country. And then they're going to go into the like America versus Dominican Republic.
You're talking about like, third and fourth generation Dominican Yorks.
Yeah. So the thing is,
Una última pregunta.
So I want to ask you this.
Just to clarify. So the thing is that people move out and their experience is obviously like we have beef, but you can like both places. That's what I want to say. You can enjoy New York and Miami and LA and Beverly. Some people got mad like I compared to Beverly Hills. And somebody says, I haven't been to Beverly Hills, bro. Like, okay, comedian guy. So, so you can like both places. You can like Santo Domingo and you can like New York. So go ahead. Yeah.
What is like your last message that you want to like tell to people that doesn't never come to the Dominican Republic? They're seeing your videos, they're getting the hate, but they never like really like listen about what you want to truly say to them.
So don't be afraid. Not just for Dominican Republic, not just for like coming here. Definitely don't be afraid to come here. Of course, precautions as in every country. If you go to the safest countries, like take precautions. But don't be afraid. But not just the Dominican Republic, in life. Don't be afraid. Like you do only live once. I know it's a cliche, but you only live once. You're going to find out that on the other side of fear is a lot of incredible things.
Yep.
A lot of incredible things are there that you otherwise will never get to see. And my life since coming here to the Dominican Republic has dramatically changed. I'm not the same person before I came here. Like 3 years after, I'm not the same person. I totally changed in so many different little ways that I don't even notice it.
Yeah,
but other people notice it when I talk to them and they're like, dude, what? Right? So like, don't be afraid and understand that everybody has their own struggle, their own trauma. And don't try to pile on that. If you see, and I know a lot of people that follow me that want to like, shit on these people. Don't. Just like have understand that a lot of people have trauma and they grow up in, various ways. Understand that like everybody's different. Everybody has their own unique experience. You don't need to be judging people, but at the same time, definitely promote Dominican Republic if you can, because what you promote, what you show, what you believe is going to become reality, because that's how economy works. If you tell people economy is crashing, people start pulling their money, economy drops. If you tell people everything is good, you get a bull market. So Dominican Republic is the bull market. And that's why I'm so confident to promote this country, because I'm not like doing the self-fulfilling prophecy like I'm hoping for it. It is happening in real time, and I'm just trying to accelerate that process, because what I see is the growth. So that's my last word. My last phrase for you is don't be afraid, explore the world, and definitely come and check out Dominican Republic whenever you can. And be aggressively patient. That's my tagline, aggressively patient.
Aggressively patient.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's a pleasure to have you.
Awesome, bro.
Damn, man,
Awesome,
that's
bro.
really good. I left out with some questions, but before, remember, just follow this with this page. It's on YouTube. It's gonna be on all social media. And remember something really important. Your perspective matters, but it's not the whole reality. And
exactly,
do whatever it takes. Just subscribe and that's it.
And where can we find you?
At Dan.Kerchum on Instagram, and on YouTube, it's going to be Dan Kerchum. So, yeah. But go to Instagram, find me there. You're going to find everything else there. Yeah.
You see it, you saw it, now you have it. Follow me on all the social media, and remember something really important. This is RD Premium 5D.